Welcome back to another episode of the RDY Set Podcast. My name's Ricky.
My name's Angus. And we got 3 returning guests back. We got Ehren, we got Landy, and we got Shanni. All right.
So everybody always says Vancouver is sort of like a sleepy city. Would you guys say so?
Like sleepy, boring.
Boring, kind of gloomy. Well,
It's always gloomy.
It's always gloomy, but it's kind of boring. And what do you guys think that is?
I think if it's not summertime, then yes, that statement is quite true. Especially when it's like very rainy.
Yes, that's why we
There's
call it
literally
Vancouver.
nothing to do. Yeah.
But it's true. Like whenever my friends from other like cities or countries, they'll be like, "Hey, is Vancouver fun?" I'll be like, "I don't know what you would do here." I'm like, summertime, yeah, we have beautiful like hikes and like mountains, and like of course like in this winter there's like snowboarding and skiing. Like people love going to like Whistler. But other than that, like I feel like it's not like amazing, you know? Like there's so many other options that you can go to.
Yeah, I feel like Vancouver doesn't exactly excel at anything in particular, right?
Yeah.
Well, the food excels. I think just
Food's
the
good.
environment,
Food's good.
like if people are asked, "Oh, when's the best time to come here?" You're like, "Yeah, just wait till the rain's gone and then summer onwards, right?" Yeah. And if you like snowboarding and stuff like that, yeah, come in December, January, right?
That's fair.
The summer is beautiful though. So like all the hikes we have, like with the blue waters, like Garibaldi or Joffrey or anything like that, like it's like a must do if you come to Vancouver.
Yeah. I think mostly it's nightlife or the lack of nightlife, like our liquor licenses or restaurants closed by midnight.
And the city shuts down pretty early, even like in special events or not. I think the only time it didn't shut down normal times was like during the Olympics when we had it. So, yeah. But yeah, I think it's because like we had like a couple like riots before because of the hockey games. I think it made a lot of more restrictions come on top. But
I thought that was more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Those
That's
are
a
all
highlight.
nighters.
Yeah, those are ragers.
But yeah, I think those have affected it. But like, I think nowadays it's starting to open up more. But we'll see how the restrictions are because drinking at past certain times is more fun than closing it out.
Right, yeah, like karaoke or whatever. We don't have that much of a nightlife, like clubs. We don't have that many clubs.
Like we don't really have an area where everyone just goes to. So for example, I lived in New York for a couple months and they have like a K-Town there. That's like super exciting, super bumpin' on the weekends, late nights. But it's like here, what do we have?
Like Granville
Richmond
Street.
has karaoke, but they're all spread out. So it's not like when you go somewhere, you can see like a group of people, a bunch of people, and it's more exciting.
Right.
It's just you kind of go with your own friends. And some even don't like open until that late.
That's true. It's a lack of opportunity to like bump into your friends as well, right? Doesn't that make things extra exciting?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, lack of nightlife. Especially when it rains, it's gloomy. There's not much.
Some people like the rain though.
But there's so many cyclists around.
You hate the
I hate
cyclists.
the cyclists so much.
Tell us how you really feel about these cyclists.
Wait,
Why?
really?
Why?
You actually?
Like,
I
why?
love biking, by the way.
Oh, you? Well,
Okay, explain why. You have to explain.
well, we have so many bike lanes that are just dedicated for cyclists, but these cyclists like to use sidewalks instead, or they'll drive on ride on the road instead of a perfect, nicely paved.
I don't think
Millions spent of tax dollars to build these lanes that don't get used.
Yeah.
And that's what causes traffic too for like the
cyclists.
cars because they reduced to one lane now for cars, and then like now downtown's just crazy sometimes.
Right.
And the cyclists don't stop at red lights or like stop signs. Like they just keep
the
going.
worst.
So what do you do? What do you do?
I feel like Ricky has his own beef. He's like, listen.
Like they're always right.
So that's probably why Vancouver is called a boring city. Is probably the cyclists.
It's all their fault.
It is their fault.
Oh my god.
His Instagram is somehow you really feel cyclist.
But like do you guys drink much? Like
Socially,
at bars?
I think.
Socially, yeah.
For
Socially.
like birthdays
out,
or like special events or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty sad for all these bars to kind of close by midnight or 11, right?
I don't think all of them close by that time. There's specific ones.
Like one or two,
But not many, honestly.
not many,
Not
like-
many open beyond like 12, 1 a.m. I guess.
bars, but
Maybe
then
one,
like there
two,
are like secret clubs that you could go to that open at odd times.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
underground clubs
Underground
where,
ones.
but they don't
Yeah.
serve alcohol. They like,
Wait. Underground clubs.
yeah, like so there's like
Where you been, Landy?
well, there's a lot like obviously liquor license stops at 3, but like there are underground clubs like, you know, Basement or Gorgon Mesh,
Oh, yeah,
like they're
those
open till
ones.
like 8 a.m. And they don't serve like alcohol, but like there's still people there. So it's more like an after party kind of place that people like to go
Right.
to. So
Wait, where is this?
Yeah, I've never heard of these.
Yeah, I never heard of this.
they're all
business.
in downtown.
They're downtown.
Yeah.
Oh.
Downtown.
You wanna go?
They're not
so-
even speakeasies then. They're
no,
like
no, they're
even-
like actual clubs with like DJs playing and like a lot of people just dancing. But it's more so I find a lot of people go after a rave or
After
something
rave,
like
like an
that.
EP.
So it's for like after party because nowadays like Vancouver, like rave culture, like it's very minimal. But like a lot of places they close at like 1 a.m. So what do people do after 1, right? They gotta go somewhere. So they go to these after parties and stuff. So
So they're like invitational only, or how do we
no, you
get
can
in?
just go in. Yeah. They're open. Like I think they open at
Just like
10
another club.
or like 11 and then they're open until like 8 a.m.
Oh wow.
I've never heard of these places.
We can go.
But they're a little
Wanna
bit more
go?
dingy though.
Yeah, they're a little
like
bit
a
more-
little
The
bit more
dingier,
grungy.
the better.
I would say a little grungy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's your style, then that's fine.
Yeah.
but,
Like
yeah.
we don't have anything like super fancy nightclubs that are
Yeah.
open until super late.
Not like Vegas
other
style
cities,
kind of
Vegas,
thing, yeah.
Toronto even.
But I mean, if you
or-
guys want to check it out,
right.
it's open.
And even then, we don't have that many food options that are open late night.
Oh yeah, we always
No.
struggle.
24
to
hour,
look
24
for-
4 hours is just Denny's.
Yeah.
Just
number
Denny's
9.
number 9.
Yeah, and some
Lucy's.
pho place. Oh, at number 9, and pho places in Vancouver.
Some fun.
Yeah, there's like the
They-
Golden
yeah, they
Train, but
closed a
it's
lot.
pretty
Oh, yeah,
bad.
never had it.
But if you got nothing else to eat, right, and it's like let's say 3-4 a.m., like then
Yeah.
you got to eat that, right? Or McDonald's.
Or Brecca. Go
Oh,
for
yeah,
cakes.
Brecca,
Brecca's
yeah.
24 hours. I love it. Yeah.
But usually
Yeah,
after like
not
a
a lot
night
of food
of
options.
drinking, you kind of want some like
Savory.
savory. Yeah, churches, okay.
Oh, just fast food, I guess.
But everything's all
basically.
quick, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like sit-in meal that like you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do go to these like 24-hour pho places, it's like all these sketchy people.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes.
Sketchy.
Like
Like everyone's just drunk though, right?
I've encountered
Not
some like
necessarily.
kind of like sketchy people that like are very like violent and like stuff, and they like yell at like the staff and all that stuff. So whether they're drunk or whatever, like or whatever on something, it is like obviously you got to be more cautious during the nights, right? So yeah, so never eat alone, like at night.
yeah.
But like I know you said how everything is kind of spread apart, right? But when everything, let's say when you say K-Town, it was like bumping, a lot of people. Don't you find that's too crowded though?
Oh yeah, it definitely got like pretty crowded. So it's not for everyone. Like some people absolutely hate crowds. But personally, I find it exciting. Like to Ricky's point, it's like there's a chance that you may bump into your friends or mutuals and then all hang out, like join your parties together. Because I like a crowd. Like I like to hang out with like a large group if I'm partying, that is, right?
yeah.
So yeah, it's just more rowdy, just like a better time.
So you're the type of person that gets more energy from hanging out with people, or just more?
Yeah,
it kinda
I like
slowly
large
zaps you?
groups.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Like if I were to go to a party, if it's just me and one other girlfriend, it's like we can still have a good time, but it's not as fun. Like
Unless
a
you
large
meet
group of girls
people
is way more
along the
fun.
way, yeah.
And also like co-ed style, or what would you call it? Like guys and girls.
Yeah.
The ratio has to be good. Can't be like 20 guys and like 6 girls or something.
That could still be okay.
That could still be
have a fun
okay.
time.
Have a fun time, yeah. The girls
The guy
can help
friends?
the guys get girls. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
it's
but if
like-
there's only 6 girls total and 4 of them are accounted for, then
well, they can help you, right? Like there's
They can
still-
wing
there's
women
2
you.
girls that 20 guys have.
no, but like there's girls at the club or there's girls
No, I'm just
outside.
saying,
The wing
like,
woman.
I'm just
type.
saying like at a house party, for example.
yeah.
What, like you're trying to hit on those girls, those 6 girls?
So,
but
so
they're
do
your
guys go to
friends.
parties just wanting
Goes
to
back
look
to
for?
platonic.
Platonic or not? What are you trying
I
to
feel
do?
like Shanning's attacking me.
But do guys go to parties like looking for something? Is that what you're trying to
Ooh,
say?
yeah, that's a good question.
Can you just go to a party because people are having a party and you want to have a good time?
Like chill with your bros, too.
Like, are you there to look for?
has to be good. And I'm just saying that in a house party, it's different though, because most of the time you know most of the people there. So when you say hook you up with someone, it's like, dude, they're all friends. Like, what do you mean hook up with other people? I'm not saying you can't have a good time.
Like, have you helped any of your guy friends to?
I guess like for me, like I have a bigger friend group, so sometimes like a lot of my guy friends actually are single. So then whenever I meet a girl or like come across like a new friend or something, I'll bring them to like my parties or I'll bring them to like my get-togethers, and then like then and then they get to like meet all my friends. And then I do find though, like obviously when you bring a new single girl and she's pretty or cute, like
All the guys are on.
all the guys are
Swarm.
into her. Like all the guys are like
Yeah.
taking their
Not
turns
me.
chatting with her.
Who was this freshie?
I told you, all guys do that.
I'm into the food.
And the thing is, like, it's like either she's into it or not, and then either I never see her again, or like
Never see her again.
or
She's
she ends
traumatized.
up dating somebody, right? Like it's just I don't know. There's no balance. Like I just wanted a
I
friend.
will say though, I have been to Landy's parties before. They're pretty fun. She's very inviting, and she's always a good wing
ratio,
woman.
and it's a good
Yeah.
Yeah,
ratio. Of,
her
like,
parties are a
female
good
to male.
ratio, and everyone's always really nice, respectful, and stuff like that. So I can vouch for that as a single.
Even Shanny.
person.
Yeah.
I'm introvert, but then I think I show off as like
It's like extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
but at the end of the
extroverted.
day, I just want to like not talk to anybody and just kind of
Stay
like
home.
shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
have more
social
moments where you're
battery.
like,
Yeah.
I don't hang out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like
Stay
stay home.
myself.
But I feel like Aaron's an extrovert.
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah.
A full blown extrovert.
He
I don't
gets
think so.
charged by like hanging out with people, like recharged energy.
I don't think so. I think I'm like a extrovert introvert because I find that my battery lately has been drained more, even though I have more people. Like I think it's extrovert introvert. It's kind of like if you feel like people are the same vibe as you or same whatever common things, then you can thrive in it and look extroverted. But then if it's not your vibe and like it's not the environment's not it, then you might go back into your introverted ways. Because if I went to a party and say I knew one person but the music was not good and like I didn't know anyone and everyone was really cold, like I'm not gonna go on my way to make friends or talk to people, right? So that's why I don't think I'm a full extrovert. I know a lot of people think I am, but no. For me, I love introducing my friends to other friends, and I don't know if I've had a lot of people say to me like, Erin, you're like the glue to our friendship, or I wouldn't have gone on my way to meet people if you didn't like were there, right? So
That's how we met.
we met at the gym, so and I just saw you, and then
But you
That
met
was
at
the
the
rest
gym?
is
I thought
history.
you said you guys work together.
Yeah,
at our work gym.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
work
work
gym,
gym.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I made the move though.
You're like, hey, you need a spot?
Yeah, you need a spot.
Hey, can we share this machine?
You see him like rowing. I'm like behind him. I was like, oh yeah.
Do you need help? Let me help you.
If you saw someone like use the machine wrong, would you tell them though?
It depends.
I prefer not to, because then I feel it's very kind of creepy.
I think if I know them, I will. If I think it looks like if like they're gonna like round their back or like hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Like if I see a noob like training and they're doing something really wrong
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing, right?
and they don't correct themselves within a couple reps, I might actually walk up and be like, hey, like it might be better to do it this way because from my experience, I've hurt myself doing this, so just be careful. Like I might just do it like that. That's kind of like a big brother kind of like
Yeah.
thing, but I'm not going out there just to like help a rep because this person's.
I feel
whatever.
it's easier to
It's easier to do it for
explain
guys.
it for a guy
It's a
than a
guy,
girl.
right?
For
But-
a girl, it comes off so creepy.
Man.
Wait, really? I thought it
Yeah.
was like, a guy would take more offense to it because it's like, who are you to tell me how to like work out at the
Well,
gym?
currently, I don't know if you guys are on TikTok, but there is a culture of guys getting called out for like looking at girls or helping them out.
Yeah.
So there's a guy on TikTok that's kind of defending people that are like literally trying to help or
Or
help people that are getting put on blast.
even like when someone's lifting heavy and they just look, right? Like I like to look at people when they work out, and then
Because you're admiring. Wow,
yeah, you're admiring,
Yeah.
and you're just like
she's so strong.
that depth in that squat.
Yeah, like some people can hit a depth that you can't, right? You're like,
Yeah,
damn.
you're just impressed, and then it can come off creepy.
Yeah.
So now
I definitely
kinda-
think you shouldn't stare at the gym.
Well, we're not staring. It's just one rep. You're like, oh shit, they're gonna get their PR.
Or
right?
That's fine if you
or
glance
like
over.
you're taking a break,
Yeah.
like after your set, and you're just
Because
sitting
there is a culture right now on TikTok where like there's like guys are being portrayed as like creeps.
I find so I did like a 7-day trial at my local gym, like anytime. And most of the people there were quite respectful. I didn't get any sense of uncomfortableness. I didn't feel like anyone was like watching me really closely. Obviously, when you're like waiting and taking a break, you'll just like glance around, use your phone, whatever, but nobody was really being like creepy. Yeah. Everyone was pretty respectful. So I feel like you would have to have done something really, really explicitly creepy for you to be called out. I think just a guy like sitting there on their phone, maybe glancing around and like seeing a girl lift and you're like, oh, nice. And like glance away. That's not considered creepy.
Because I feel like we can.
It's a shared space. It's an open space.
That's
If a
true.
girl was that self-conscious about a guy like looking at her, she wouldn't go to a public gym. Or she would go to an all-female gym, right?
Because when you sense the stare,
So like what are these guys doing?
it's
Like
a
the
creepy
TikTok
stare.
guys, what are they doing for them to get called out? Clearly
No,
something really
it's
creepy.
not. Literally, what I'm saying is that. So I think his name is Joey Swole, and so basically, there was one instance where this girl was doing, I don't know what the one that's like the bar here, and then like
Hip thrust?
Yeah, hip thrust,
hip
right?
thrust,
And she was
yeah.
just setting up, and this guy was like, came up to her and said like, how many reps do you have left, right? And then
Just wanted to use the
and then in her
the-
mic that she had here, because she's a YouTuber or Twitch
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, she was like saying, I feel so like this guy's like trying so hard to
Creep on me?
like I feel like fresh meat, and but he's literally just on his phone, like he just asked and he just went back to his thing waiting for her to finish up, right? But then she posted it, and since she's a big influencer, it
A lot of guys
put
were
a lot
attacking
hate
him?
on him, right? So Joey Swole has been like kind of the hero and like 'cause,
Defending
like,
the guy.
hey, he's just waiting for your rep, like
Yeah.
I don't think he actually cares, right?
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but like, it's perception, right? The more influence you have, the more people you have backing you. But I think in that instance, it was very clear and apparent in that one where it was literally a guy waiting for a set to do, right?
Like some girls will go out of their way to like make something out of nothing because they
Yeah.
want clout or they want
Victimizing.
attention. Victimizing, yeah.
Yeah,
So
guys and girls do it, but I think like it's just something. I think as a guy, we're very careful. Like we just like if someone's gonna go, you just walk away because like it's kind of just
Camera somewhere.
yeah in public, right? That's why like I just like working at my work gym or like at my apartment because I feel like I'm just worried of that stuff happening because now everyone is recording to work on stuff like that, and I don't want to get canceled because I literally just wanted to do my set, but I'm like, okay, if I can't, I'm leaving, right?
Yeah, but like with fashion, like gym clothes, it's starting to get more revealing
Yeah,
and more revealing, especially for like the females' clothes.
yeah.
It's kind of hard not to glance over when you see. You can tell when it's too revealing.
Yeah.
But don't you
And-
think that's like it's not attractive anymore at that point because context is everything, right? You're at the gym wearing that kind of stuff. Wouldn't you think that's almost borderline trashy?
Well, we're not saying that it's like not trashy or what. We're just saying that like it's hard for someone not to like look at
To
that
just look?
Yeah,
when
like-
it's just like right
it-
there.
it draws,
right? Some
like-
people just do that or wear that because of attention. Right?
Yeah, or maybe it just feels comfortable. I
It
don't
feels
know.
comfortable, but it's just I think
But then we get
we get in trouble for
People
those
that stare.
things. Like even if we just like took a glance and just walked away, if that was recorded,
I would
we're-
take a
we're-
longer
we're fine.
glance because I'm just like, why?
Subtly, like while she's like like face not towards you, right? Like you wouldn't like stare her right when she's like
Like full eye contact.
no, like you would be sneaky about it, right? Like if she's doing a set, she's doing like deadlifts, for example. She's like doing it over there and you're sitting on your bench, like you look at her then, right? Because her back's towards you. She wouldn't know if you're staring or not.
Yeah.
Is that when you would
There's
do
usually
it?
a mirror though, right?
It's usually a mirror, like,
Yeah.
but
I guess what we're trying to say is that sometimes we can be put in really awkward positions and sometimes you might take a glance, but then if it's recorded, then like it can paint a bad picture.
But that it's kind of borderline the whole debate over, in like trigger warning, RAPE situations, when a person is like, oh, but that girl was being like, she was wearing a really revealing dress. She was asking for it. That's kind of like, okay, if someone can choose to wear whatever they want at the gym, but that doesn't mean it's an invitation for a guy to stare longer than they need to, right? So it's still kind of like that.
I think there's a difference between
because-
staring and staring creepily,
Yeah.
okay, what's the difference?
Because like I get
Is
it,
there?
like,
I think just staring
no,
is
but
just creepy.
I feel like if a girl looks good and they're like dressed nicely and they're fit, like I think they enjoy the like looks and the admirations and everything, right? So, but then creepily is more like, oh yeah, like guys like staring like for a very long time and looking at that ass, like whatever, right? And then maybe coming up to her and just being like, oh, like nice ass or whatever, right? I don't know,
Dude,
like
I would
like
never
or
say that.
whatever, right?
Really
Oh, like
wrong.
oh, you're cute or something like that, right? In a creepy way, then that's like kind of like for
You know what I think is
a
creepy?
little
Filming.
creepy. Oh yeah,
That's
filming
creepy.
for sure. Yes.
If they're trying to be
Filming
subtle about
you?
filming, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That is
That
creepy.
is-
That's
that
a
is
true
creepy.
definition of someone creeping at the gym. Some guys will do that. Not even at the
Yeah.
gym, like on public transportation. If
They'll
they,
be
are
like,
wearing
oh
something.
shit, yeah,
Yeah, some
that's
people
crazy.
Wait,
will.
has that happened to you?
You know what? I think, yeah, one time. I honestly think it wasn't even like at the gym or anything. I was literally going to a media tasting at a poke shop, and I was posing because I used to take a lot more time like taking my photos of myself posing with food. Not so much anymore, but I was doing that, and literally a guy was like, he was holding his phone up like this. Like that's clearly like you're filming. Because when you're just using your phone, it's like down here, right?
Yeah.
So he was face towards me and everything, very explicit, and he was like filming because I was posing. And maybe it was summertime. So yes, I was wearing shorts, I was wearing crop top, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And then I felt really uncomfortable. And then I just kind of like looked at him and was like waiting to see if he would do anything. And then he kind of like just turned away. But yeah, I had a feeling that he was filming me. And immediately I sensed it and I just stopped what I was doing and kind of walked away, told my boyfriend. Yeah. We didn't really have a confrontation because I can't, like I wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't want to just go up to him like, yo, like, were you filming me? Like, let me see your phone and the footage. Yeah. But I just made sure that I did what I could to prevent it from furthering. So I stopped posing. I walked away back towards him. Yeah. But there have been times, and I can imagine at the gym, it's even more likely that someone would want to, because girls are in booty shorts, they're doing squats that accentuate their butt. So I think at that point it becomes creepy.
Of course, yeah. But like the nice glance, like, oh shit, like she looks good because she works out. Like I think that's totally fine. But I do find some girls take it out of proportion and they'll be
Just
like, oh,
take
like
one glance.
Yeah. I think there's differences of like staring. That's
and
what
that
I
one
think.
glance should be like less than 10 seconds.
Like you're just admiring her.
Yeah, because there are some like bodybuilder like girls and it's like, damn, holy shit, you can like deadlift that or whatever, and you just feel like you want to see their rep. You're like, oh shit, and then you might correct to your own like form or whatever.
I guess it's there's a difference between appreciation and then objectification.
Yeah.
Or if it's like at the gym, like a group of guys, like maybe 2 or 3, they're all bunched together and they are like talking about her. I think that's inappropriate as well. And that's creepy. Because it's like you're minding your business, like squatting, deadlifting, whatever. And then you just know, you get the vibe that in the corner, those guys are like, yo, like check her out or like whatever. And they're whispering, then that is inappropriate. Very.
Does that happen?
Well, I personally don't see it. Again, the gym that I went to for my trial, everyone's super respectful, which I loved. But I can see that happening. And if that were to happen, that's inappropriate and that's creepy. Yeah. And that's the more objectifying. Yeah.
I think those things will happen, but they don't always have to be painted in a bad light. Like even if there's a group of guys being like, oh look, that girl's doing that lift or whatever, she's hot. Like as long as you just say one thing and it's just like move on. But if you're like sitting there and having a full blown like conversation of like going in depth, like then I can see what you're saying. But it's not rare for, it's not uncommon for that to happen.
Like because I'm kind of guilty. I stare.
Like, what do you mean by that? Like, how do you stare?
No, like I look when someone works out really hard. I tend to look. Doesn't matter if it's a guy or girl.
But does she know though?
So that's why I do. I'm like thumbs up.
Oh my god!
Thumbs up.
I've never had a guy at the gym do like, you go,
yeah, that's a little creepy.
No, I do. When I see them, I'm like, props. Like props.
But okay, but wait, what's the situation? Are they deadlifting freaking like three plates? And so it's kind of like
impressive.
Not to say that like girls can, because there's some really strong girls, but just in general, like on average, I'm weaker than a guy, right? So if I were to like deadlift 4 plates, that's pretty impressive. Yeah. So is it usually that scenario, or is she just going about her like regular routine, 1 plate squat, and you're like, you go, girl?
Oh no. after the first rep, I'm like, hey, you did great. Keep going. No, it's mostly like after a set. Like you see them, you see them grinding. Like
when you see them,
it's like they're hitting a PR.
Yeah, it's PR. They're
when they're pushing failure, I think that's when it is. Because no matter what weight it is, if you see someone push failure and they do it, it's actually really cool to see.
Yeah, like when they're.
But are you the only person kind of encouraging them in that sense, or looking at them, or is it kind of an audience? Because sometimes I notice at the gym, sometimes there may be an audience. If a girl is working out with her friends and there's other guys around, they'd be like, you can do it, go up, whatever, right? So it's kind of like that environment, everyone's encouraging and uplifting. Or are you the only guy, and then suddenly she glances over and you're like,
okay. She looks at a mirror and then there's you in the background giving the thumbs.
Because I'm just thinking, putting myself in those shoes, how would I react if I saw a guy give me a thumbs up after I did a set? I'd be like, oh, thank you.
Oh, like, would you rather the guy come over? It's like, hey, you killed it on that set.
Yeah, I feel like maybe if he came over and was like,
Yeah.
Wow, like,
I've
really
done that too.
impressed.
Not from far away being like,
Yeah, because if he's just sitting there, give me a thumbs up.
that's
Like,
just too much.
I should have clarified
Yeah, make
what
sure
it
to
is.
clarify how you do it.
Yeah, no, I just like, they do props. I go over there. I'm like, hey.
oh, you do go over.
Yeah, go over. Sometimes I don't.
that's
I thought
fine.
you were in the corner. You're just like,
I know, just creepily.
yeah, I don't know what that sound was.
I remember one time I did compliment someone on their squat, and then I ended there. And I walked away. And while I was walking away, I'm like, oh man, that was so awkward. I should not have done that.
What do you mean? Like
Like
good
they
squat,
were
good form.
They were, yeah, it was really good form. Like I'll be honest, a lot of people don't do.
They round their back when they squat.
They round their back or they didn't go hit depth. But
Yeah.
she
grass.
Yeah, but she was like going depth and she was going like heavy. So I was really impressed. So after I was like, hey, I'm like, your squats was looking really good.
Okay, that
Many years ago, and after I said that, I was like,
He's reformed now, Shanny. He's reformed.
I walked away. I'm like, what the hell was
okay.
that?
I think it's dangerous when you talk about form.
Especially when you say really good. Like I don't. I would
I
just
was
be
really
like,
impressed.
I'll be like, you
Yeah.
killed it. That's it, and just
Yeah, I
walk
killed
away.
it. So that's when I learned. I don't.
Or you
say that
dabbed them,
anymore.
be like, as a bro, like it's fine. But
No,
like,
I don't want to get dabbed up. Like,
well, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, like, you have to make it so that you're not having an ulterior motive when you give that compliment, right? So sometimes you'll be like, yo, good set. Right?
honestly, don't allude to form because that gives off that you are checking them out. Which even if you're doing that, that's a normal like reaction for a guy. But just
Yeah.
don't come off that way. Don't talk about form.
Yeah, so back then I didn't know, and I did that, and then later I was like, oh, that was really creepy. I should never do that ever again. So after that, I'm just like, hey, you killed it. Yeah, I think Vancouver's not a boring place.
Yeah, we just totally
we were sidetracked.
That's okay.
gym. Which
Yeah. If anyone has any like questions.
Yeah. So the question's from Alex.
Alex.
When do you all think it's okay to move in with your significant other? How early in the relationship?
Earlier the better.
Earlier the better.
Yeah.
like in a
okay,
month?
in like 2 months.
Oh.
2
Ooh,
months.
2 months I
3
think is
months.
too quick.
Too quick?
That's too.
Okay,
Like
fine.
6 months.
6 months?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
fine.
think
6 months.
six.
6 months.
I think 6 to a year.
Also
would be
depends
good.
on your life stage, how old you are as well.
Yes.
When you're a young person, you're like 17, 18, still going to school.
You can live with their parents.
So what's the limit then? 20s, early 20s.
If you're like a working professional,
mid-20s?
like graduated or even like approaching graduation, but basically in a life stage where you can both make an income and you're ready to like move to the next stage of life, trying to build a future, trying to buy a place together or just move out away from parents, then I think you can talk about it.
Would you do it like after a year of being together or even before that? Like what's the threshold?
I think a good healthy timeline is 6 months at least.
Okay.
Oh,
I
wow.
moved in with mine with like 3 months in.
Wait, actually, so this is like you have only dated them for 3 months and then you moved in,
Yeah.
right?
That was my first relationship.
And how did that turn out?
We're not together anymore.
But was it because of moving in together, like differences in lifestyle or something completely different?
No, it was just not compatible. Yeah. But honestly, I felt like if I didn't move in earlier, I would not have figured out a lot of issues. Like because you're forced to work on it together, right?
Yeah.
Like I think of moving together, you're basically on everything is fast forward. You don't take it slow. So
Yeah.
eventually you're going to reach there anyways.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to how both people are able to work together on that. And so you're forced into that situation where if you're not living together, you get to basically leave, have your own place, don't see them for a couple days, relax, like chill out, and then come back and see each other, and it's kind of better. But when you're living together, you're forced to work on it together. And it really shows if that person is willing to avoiding it or is willing to work.
Like problem solving, conflict resolution.
Yeah. So it is like more intense, but I see the value in it. Of course, not like 1 month in or something.
Yeah, I think that's too soon. Because 1 month you can't even get to know a person.
What if it's someone that you've been friends with for like, I don't know, 10 years and you guys decide to take a chance with each other and then a month in you're like, okay, let's move in together. And you guys are in your early 30s.
It's a different situation. I think you already know their character, so you know a
Yeah.
lot about them. They're not a serial killer. You trust them. You have a good time.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
You're like, why are there all these weapons around here? I didn't know we
I
had this
feel
compartment.
like it's still the same though, because how a person behaves as a friend is different from how they behave in a relationship.
Yeah.
So like a 6-month rule ish, I
Still
think
applies,
would still
yeah.
apply. Mhm.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Yeah. But I think generally, like complete stranger, let's say you're meeting this person off of an online dating app. I think it's safe. Like 6 months is probably safe. Yeah. Because again, you need to get to know the person.
Like after knowing their family kind of thing.
Oh, that's too far.
Oh, that's
We gotta dial that back down.
Okay, so what do you do first? Do you meet
Yeah.
the family first, or do you move in first?
because I think family would be the best way to vex if they're a serial killer, right?
I think I would try and vet out the serial killer before I introduce them to my family.
Oh yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like,
Wait, wouldn't you want like to introduce to your family to ensure that they also approve of your partner?
I know, but I'm saying if we're trying to vet out a serial killer, then you would not. You would vet, and then when you know it's okay, then you show your parents, right? Like to me, like I rarely show girls to like my parents, right? Or bring them home. So like for me, the criteria would be like it's stable, and you know they're comfortable with it, and I already see a longevity with this person, right? I'm not gonna bring someone that it's shaky and like I don't know, I'm unsure about, right?
But I do think like moving in is kind of like a serious, like you're getting into a serious relationship.
Yeah.
And moving in is essentially like you're going to get like married, you're going to like have a life together. So like, do you really know the person like the first like 2-3 months? Like, do you really want to spend the rest of your life with that person? Like, don't you want to like date them for like maybe 6 months to a year, get to know them, have a little bit of mystery, you know, like while you guys are not together, like, you know, separately. And then when you see each other, there's more like spark, there's more like excitement to be like, hey, I'm excited to like go on our date next week or whatever, right? Instead of like, oh, I like you, I'm going to move in with you, and now I see you every single day. There's like no more mystery, there's no more like spark, there's like, oh,
That's
like
fair as well.
the excitement goes away, and then that's how relationships die fast too. So, I mean...
Yeah.
I think moving in is more like a serious thing.
Because it's like reflecting right now. Like,
the 1
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
So spontaneous.
I think
Yeah.
Angus is the type of guy that would want to move in earlier because he is the type to go all in. Like he was willing to work through any problem that may come up. So that's why he's rather move in soon so that he knows what this person is like as well. Am I right?
Man, you know me too well.
Aaron, you got competition.
it's not a competition. I've said this many times. He's already mine.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
How about like buying a place together?
Ooh, that is commitment.
Like what do you think about like how long do you have to be dating?
Yeah,
to
so there
do
are
that?
like relationships where like you're not married yet, but you bought a place together. Right? But then I guess the question is, what's the criteria for you to
Make
be able
that
to do that,
steps.
right?
Yeah,
The
so
time, or
I think the most important thing is you should establish, like, for example, some couples will buy a place together wanting to live in it and wanting to build a future. That's their first home together. But other couples will see it as like, even if it doesn't work out, it's just an investment. We'll get like monetary value out of this. So it's very important that you meet with a lawyer and you clearly define how is a split going to happen, right? Who owns what portion and like how much are you paying for the down payment, rent, etc. You got to like be very clear about this.
Definitely.
That's important. It's not like make or break. It's not to say that like, oh, as long, you know, if someone buys a place with their partner, then they're locked in for life. Then they must get married. No, that's
well, your
not the
mortgage
case.
is locked in for life.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then that's where you have to have discussions over.
I think the difference between being married and buying a place and being boyfriend girlfriend buying a place, there's no difference. You get the same lawyers, you draw the same contract. So yeah, because I think when people move in together, they're basically common law anyways. So being
It has
married
to
or
be like
not
a
married,
year?
then I think it's
Yeah.
6 months.
Oh,
Yeah, I
having
think
lived
6
together for
months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, that's why I don't like doing this move-in thing early, because I'm like,
Then you're locked in.
yeah, like you have an asset, the person doesn't have an asset, then someone's
They
gonna
get
take...
yours?
Because you can
Whoa,
technically
whoa,
still
whoa, why you
take,
say like that, Shanni?
like you can
No, like,
technically
you're saying
break
if
up
you
and
have
still
assets,
get their
they don't
money.
have this.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you're common law, like if you break up, like you can technically take half their money, like
Right.
legally. Yeah, because you're common law.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Or that's why some people have, what is it called? Prenups.
Prenups, yeah.
That
But then do you
is
have-
important.
But with common law, it's
for common
trickier.
law, right?
Trickier because you don't really sign like legal documents.
So when you
That's
do
true.
your, you know, your whole signing of the place, you just have to get an additional part with the lawyers to like say, if this happened, this is the split, and like these are the levers you can take, right? Because if you don't do that, then one party might just take the whole thing, right?
How do you guys think about like splitting costs? Like when you live
Split
with
costs, yeah, that's a
somebody,
good
like
one.
let's say like maybe the girl or the guy makes more than the other partner. Like, what do you do in that situation? Do you like split all the groceries and everything in half, or how do you
So-
guys? How would you
Based on
guys
salary or
like
what?
split it? Yeah.
One of my friends that I know, partners were boyfriend girlfriend at that time. What they did was they just had one separate account,
Oh.
and they would just divvy out like the expenses for the place. And that's kind of how it was like a joint account, right?
Yeah.
So like that's how they kind of like worked it out. But I understand, like, you know, if there's a huge gap in pay, whether it's guy or girl, like, you know, you may want to pay more or less for that, because, you know, one person could be in school, one could be doing part-time versus full-time, which is fine, right? So I think just aligning on that and just making sure everyone's happy with that, that's the main thing. There's no like, oh, if this happens, then we're gonna change this agreement, right? Because that's when things go weary, right?
There's
a
many
blurred
different ways to
area.
approach that. I guess it's like for me, a joint account makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, for both parties to kind of like fund. But
So
yeah,
the joint account, like you just know that from the guy's salary, they would contribute X amount each month. The girl's salary, they would contribute X amount each month.
Yeah, and you pay with that.
And pay with that account.
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
On it.
Okay.
And how do you base the percentage of how each person would contribute? I guess it's something like they have communicated.
But I guess if it's,
right?
for
Yeah.
example, 5%, if the guy makes more, his 5% is going to be more than her 5%. So is that fair? Or should it be he gets 5 even though he makes more and she gets 2 even
That's
though she
a
gets less?
tough question. Honestly, it's just
for the couple to
Based on-
decide.
Decide, yeah.
yeah, because it's like, for example, I think this one's pretty clear. From a guy's perspective, I think if your girlfriend was like in school, or if she has getting her master's or whatever, and she has a goal to something, like, I don't know, I would just pay the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then she would just help with, like, you know,
Smaller things. Yeah.
smaller things, like, you know, help cook and with us, and, like, you know, we collaborate and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, love isn't supposed to be transactional, friendships and relationships like that, right? So that one's pretty clear cut in my eyes. But I think, say your salaries are in parity, right? Then it's easy, 50-50, whatever, if you want. Or the guy can take on the rent and maybe she does the groceries and stuff like that. But I think when there's a huge gap, say, I don't know, the guy makes like 120K and she makes like, I don't know, 50 grand, right? Sounds like big on paper, but you just have to like somehow make it a proportion. Like maybe it's I pay 70% of the rent and then you just pay groceries plus whatever, right? So yeah.
I think that also shows sincerity too. Like if you are talking about living together, sharing expenses is also shows how sincere the girl is about the relationship too. If she's just like not paying anything,
Right.
even though she makes money,
Yeah.
that can come off as like freeloading and she's just trying to like take advantage of the guy, get him to pay for everything. So she's probably not that serious about him.
Some guys are okay with that though, I think.
I think it's the provider mentality.
yeah.
Some
Provider?
guys like to be the provider. They want to.
So they pay for everything.
For the girl.
So
They
all
want-
of the living expenses, all of the
Yeah.
utilities, and the dates going out to eat, they just pay for every single thing.
Some people do that, but I think it's just males just have been conditioned to be that, right?
But I feel like the girl also has to reciprocate in the way where maybe she'll cook and clean everything, like, or maybe she'll
Right.
like pamper him or like
Help
you know
make
take
his
care
life
of him.
easier, too, if he's providing.
Don't let just him do everything and then
There
you
are
just sit on your
relationships
ass.
where, you know, like there's a stay-home like mom or whatever, but then like I've seen splits where the male makes majority of the money, but then she manages how the money's split in terms of like investing it and do this because he just knows how to make the money, right? So that I'm not like, damn, like I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't care, like I don't know how to manage that stuff, so like yeah, if I make
And she's
X
making
amount.
more money from that.
Yeah.
So that's even better.
exactly, so it's just
It's a balance.
it's a teamwork
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? It's not like a
Communication.
yeah. It's as long as you communicate, I think things are good. It's just making I guess it's an awkward conversation sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Depending on how things are split.
So then would you guys be okay if in a scenario like you and your partner were renting a place, like not buying, like you guys rented a place, you guys are both living in it full time and she didn't pay any rent or utilities or anything, like would you feel some type of way or would you be okay? What's your preference?
Freeloader.
Freeloader?
Freeloader.
So
I'll be okay. I'll be okay with it
You would be okay.
Depends. I feel like
Because keep in mind, they're like living in it full time too. They're using it. It's not your space. It's not your
And
home.
we have
It's
parity?
a rental place.
We have parity in salary, or
Not complete parity. Like she obviously, not obviously, but like she does make a little less than you, but it's not like night and day where you're like 300K, she's like 20K. Like it's like you guys are still working professionals both. It's just your
like I understand people can't be on the same level as long as they're giving in some way, because it can't just be one-sided, right?
monetary though, or you mean other ways too? I'm just talking strictly monetary. Would you be okay if she didn't pay any rent and utilities?
what about when we
groceries?
go out for dates?
Yeah,
and
we
stuff
go
like
for
that?
food.
Am I paying for all that too?
Like if she buys groceries and stuff like
Right,
that,
you'd
then
be okay.
you know I'll be okay. Like she's still contributing.
If I'm
into
paying
it.
like for every single meal and groceries and all that, yeah, I don't
Then
know.
you'd feel some type of way.
I would bring it up
Yeah,
personally. I don't know. Some people don't care, right? They might make ridiculous money, like fuck you money, so they might not care.
yeah,
But
yeah. For me, it's give and take.
it's like a principle
needs-
kind of thing for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
If it's not the rent and utilities, then hopefully she's contributing in other aspects.
Yeah,
You would hope,
yeah.
right? Not completely freeloading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I look at the way, like, if let's say something happened, I can't work, she needs to help support.
Yeah.
She can't just be like, oh, I'm out. I'm like, help me out. I was helping you out for the longest time. Like, you're not going to help
Yeah.
me? But yeah.
What about if the place was yours? Like you have a mortgage on it, you own it. Would you ask her to pay rent and utilities? Or would it be the same mentality? Keep in mind, this is not a rental property anymore. It's yours. And she's just kind of part-time or maybe even full-time living in it too with you. But she doesn't own anything.
To help me with my mortgage?
Not mortgage, but or actually, what is your expectation? This is your property. She lives in it full-time with you, but she doesn't own anything. It's all in your name, right?
Yeah.
What's your
name.
expectation of her contributing anything, if at all?
Well, I think from that perspective, being the owner is the one to invite their partner to live in with them, right? So then I guess that would be on the owner's decision. Like if it makes sense if the partner does not have any ownership of this home, then it's fine, right?
That's fine. What? Like
That's
you wouldn't
a-
ask her to pay
You don't
anything?
have-
No, yeah.
Because in the end of the
Right.
day, like if you sell your place, you're getting the money.
Yeah.
It's not
You're
like she's
liable
getting
for
any
it.
money from.
Right.
But I guess what you mean is like, oh, because you're living here rent free, like
Exactly.
you're
You're
gonna
still
contribute
living
with
rent
money.
free. Yeah.
But then I do know that like a lot of guys they do provide and they like provide with the money and everything, but the girls provide with like
Again, it goes back to
labor.
kind of labor and cleaning.
yeah.
And,
And I feel like they contribute that way, so it kind of evens it out in a way. So
Like I think
it makes their life easier, like the guys' life.
if you're living in a 1-bedroom versus a 2-bedroom versus a 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom, you can probably manage on your own. But I feel like if I'm adding a bedroom or a den just because you're living there and it's putting a detriment to my like it's putting a
Good
huge
point.
dent into my thing. Like I'm taking a huger mortgage because you're here, but you're not helping in any way.
right.
then-
Because you could have just gone a one bedroom
could've-
bachelor pad. But because you want her to live comfortably, you went out of your way to get like a 2-bedroom, a larger space that's more
Yeah.
expensive, right?
But what if you already had that space and then you met her?
then it's fine. I think.
Because it's already
Right? Because like it's under your name, it's your responsibility. You decide to take that on, right? That's why I feel. But if say we got together and you're like, oh, like Ehren, let's go buy a 3-bedroom. Like okay, then we do, and you're like, okay, now you're paying for everything. I'm like, oh, wait, it's only in my name or is it in our names? And it's like if it's in both our names and you're not paying, I'm like, okay, that's another red flag,
that's, yeah,
right?
that's not
But even then,
acceptable.
like. Even if you had the resources, I think it's the principle of like, if you're not contributing, then what am I doing here? Right?
Unless you're a sugar daddy, there's a difference.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an awesome question. God damn. We're probably going to have to end it there because we're way over.
Yeah.
But, thanks for everyone for tuning in. You can follow us, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Tunes. Is it Apple Tunes? Yep, it is. Apple iTunes, yeah. We're on Linktree. Everything is in there. Let us know what you think about if Vancouver is a boring place. Bring it all the way back.
literally 10% was on Vancouver.
What do you think about the gym?
What do you think about gym? Like, is it
The etiquette
okay?
in the gym.
Gym
yeah.
etiquette.
Yes. And yeah, we'll see everyone on the next one. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.